The story unfolds around Miss Tuki, a young woman suffering from severe eye problems and memory loss. Her condition worsened after she returned from a remote forest area where she likely contracted an infection that affected her eyesight. The medical help available locally was insufficient, as the doctors indicated her eye condition had deteriorated beyond the point for effective treatment in the country. Due to the advanced state of her illness, it was recommended that she be taken abroad for proper care. Miss Tuki's grandparents and caretakers are deeply concerned about her deteriorating health. They try to manage her wounds and symptoms, but the lack of timely treatment for her eyes led to irreversible damage. This situation is compounded by financial difficulties faced by her family, making it challenging to afford the necessary overseas treatment. Mr. Henry, a high school student with many connections, steps in to find a solution. He promises to leverage his network to find specialists capable of treating Tuki properly. Despite the physical and emotional pain, Miss Tuki tries to remain strong. She worries about being a burden to others, especially her mother and caretakers, but feels the support of those around her. The family struggles with sadness over the missed chance for early treatment and the guilt that they could not act sooner. The story also touches on the complexity of their circumstances, including the haunting presence of people who seem to be following or spying on Tuki, adding to the tension. Conversations among the caretakers reveal a balance of hope and despair. Plans to contact Tuki's mother become crucial, as does the need to coordinate care and treatment decisions. Mr. Henry takes an active role in arranging doctors and seeking a path for medical intervention, working tirelessly to improve her conditions. The medical professionals involved in her case share their concerns, prognoses, and treatment possibilities, emphasizing the seriousness of her condition and the urgent need for specialized care. Amidst the medical crisis, the family also grapples with financial stress. Misadventures in investments, including real estate scams, have drained the family's resources, leaving little capital for Tuki's treatment. They face harsh choices, including selling their house to fund her medical care. This deepens the emotional and economic strain, yet the family remains determined to find a way forward despite overwhelming odds. Medical evaluations indicate Tuki suffers from traumatic brain injury symptoms, including concussion and memory loss due to past accidents. Doctors advise gentle treatment, adequate rest, and gradual regaining of memory through contact with relatives and controlled physical activity. Vision loss remains a cornerstone issue, with local doctors doubting the possibility of cure within the country. The narrative extends to include moments of tenderness and vulnerability as Tuki struggles with her limitations and fears. She expresses gratitude for the care she receives while wrestling with the desire not to be a burden. The support of her grandparents, Mr. Henry, and other caregivers plays a pivotal role in her ongoing fight for recovery. Medical experts involved recommend specialized neurological and ophthalmological consultation and treatments that may not be readily available locally. Henry reaches out to international contacts and specialists who might provide the critical care Tukey needs. There is hope that with proper treatment, she can regain some memory and eyesight, but the road ahead is uncertain and fraught with challenges. This part of the story ends with a strong emphasis on determination and hope amid adversity. Despite the overwhelming medical, financial, and emotional challenges faced by Tukey and her family, the combined efforts of loved ones and supporters fuel the quest for healing, underscoring the resilience of the human spirit in the face of severe trials. This is a detailed narrative summary of Part 1 based on the subtitles you provided. If you want me to continue with Parts 2 and 3 in similar style, please let me know. The narrative shows tender moments as Tukey grapples with her limitations and gratitude for care, while others rally around her. Henry's outreach to international experts holds promise, though challenges remain daunting. This first part reveals a story of pain, resilience, and hope as the family and supporters unite to find a path to healing. The medical situation surrounding Miss Tukey is fraught with complexity and profound challenges, offering a case study in the difficulties faced by patients, families, and healthcare systems when confronting severe illness compounded by social, economic, and logistical barriers. The story touches on themes central to critical healthcare communication, patient management, and the intersection of medical limitations with emotional and financial hardship. From the onset, Tukey's condition, marked by progressive eye deterioration and memory loss, illustrates the challenges of late diagnosis and treatment delays. The infection, contracted in a remote forest area, likely initiated a cascade of tissue damage and neurological complications. Early warning signs were missed or ignored, possibly due to isolation, lack of medical access, or misinformation, highlighting a frequent problem in rural and underserved communities. This delay resulted in the loss of an opportunity for effective intervention, pushing the disease beyond local healthcare capabilities. The dynamics within Tukey's care network further complicate her path to recovery. Her grandparents, despite their care and dedication, lack the resources and medical knowledge necessary to manage her complex needs adequately. The repeated references to her fatigue, nausea, and psychological distress underscore the toll prolonged illness takes on patients and their families. Caregivers navigating this landscape often face decisions marked with uncertainty and culpability, as seen in the expressed regrets over not seeking earlier treatment. Such emotional strain is common among families facing chronic or degenerative disease without clear-cut cures. Henry's involvement introduces a multifaceted element to the narrative. As a young person with broad social connections, he symbolizes a bridge between isolated family struggles and the broader medical and community resources that might offer hope. His attempt to mobilize a network of specialists and facilitate access to advanced care underscores the importance of social capital and community engagement in managing complex health issues. Henry's role also highlights systemic gaps where formal institutions may not sufficiently support marginalized or rural patients, creating reliance on informal networks. Financial hardship pervades the storyline, casting a shadow over all medical decisions. The family's previous investments and assets have been depleted or lost through scams and real estate failures, leaving little means to cover urgent treatments, especially those requiring international travel. This reality is reflective of many families in similar circumstances who face the cruel choice between medical necessity and financial ruin. The narrative thus showcases the need for accessible healthcare financing options, social support systems, and patient advocacy to bridge these divides. The detailed discussions around symptom management and prognosis reveal a thorough engagement with Tukey's medical complexity. The presence of traumatic brain injury, memory loss, and one-sided blindness demands interdisciplinary care involving neurologists, ophthalmologists, rehabilitation specialists, and perhaps mental health professionals. Such multidisciplinary approaches are critical but challenging to coordinate, particularly under resource constraints. The narrative conveys the importance of a treatment plan that balances aggressive intervention with compassionate support, including managing psychological distress and facilitating memory recovery through family interaction. Communication challenges are prominent. The tension between medical facts and patient or family hopes must be delicately managed. Caregivers struggle with conveying prognosis clearly yet compassionately, maintaining trust and avoiding despair. Tuki's own expressions of not wanting to be a burden, her gratitude amid suffering, and her sometimes withdrawn demeanor illustrate the complex emotional landscape in chronic and severe illness. These psychosocial factors critically influence treatment adherence and recovery potential. The story's exploration of suspicious individuals following Tuki and family safety concerns adds another layer, reflecting the vulnerabilities of people facing medical crises in unstable social environments. These elements complicate care logistics and introduce trust and security issues. They point to the interplay between healthcare and broader social determinants of health, including legal, economic, and personal safety. Overall, the story of Tuki offers deep insight into the compounded challenges faced by patients with complex conditions in constrained contexts. It portrays the intricate weave of medical urgency, financial limitation, social connection, and emotional resilience. The narrative also calls attention to systemic inequities and the critical role of community and patient advocates like Henry in navigating these difficulties. In managing such situations, healthcare providers must adopt a multidimensional approach. Timely diagnosis, clear patient-family communication, interdisciplinary medical collaboration, psychosocial support, and navigation of financial and logistical barriers are all essential. Advocates and informal networks often fill gaps left by formal systems. Policy interventions aimed at extending healthcare access, subsidizing critical treatments, and supporting caregivers could alleviate some of the burdens illuminated here. This detailed analysis underscores themes vital in health communication and care provision: the significance of empathy, transparency, and trust, the importance of timely intervention and multidisciplinary coordination, and the pervasive impact of socioeconomic factors on health outcomes. Moving forward, Tuki's case exemplifies how overcoming medical crises often depend as much on social and systemic supports as on medical treatment itself, calling for comprehensive strategies that integrate medical care with social justice and community engagement. The final part of Tuki's story unfolds in intimate detail, tracing her prolonged struggle against devastating health challenges, emotional turmoil, and the precarious social and economic circumstances that shape her fight for survival and dignity. Her journey embodies the complex and deeply human experience of chronic illness in marginalized contexts, revealing layers of suffering, resilience, and hope. Tuki's physical condition deteriorated steadily over months. The infection she contracted in the forest left deep scars, affecting not only her eyesight but also her neurological functions. The progressive loss of vision culminated in near blindness in one eye, a condition exacerbated by delayed and insufficient medical intervention due to geographic and systemic barriers. Neurological symptoms including memory loss, cognitive decline, and emotional withdrawal compounded her difficulties. Traditional medical evaluations confirmed not only the irreversible nature of her eye damage, but also the challenges posed by traumatic brain injury sequelae. Her caretakers, primarily her grandparents and Henry, faced an overwhelming responsibility. With limited medical knowledge and resources, they struggled to provide appropriate care and comfort. They constantly juggled symptom management, emotional support, and logistical challenges, often feeling inadequately prepared. In late-stage symptoms resembling Alzheimer's or advanced dementia, Tuki required assistance in daily functions, eating, hygiene, mobility, and constant supervision to prevent injury. Caregiving extended beyond physical needs. Psychological support played a crucial role as Tuki's personality oscillated between moments of lucidity and confusion, hope and frustration. She expressed concerns about being a burden, but also gratitude for the unwavering devotion of her family. The emotional exhaustion experienced by caregivers was palpable. They had to balance compassion with firm routines to maintain her safety and dignity. Nutritional care was a significant challenge. Tuki's fluctuating appetite and cognitive impairments made regular meals difficult. Caregivers emphasized the importance of a varied diet enriched with nutrients supporting brain function. Strategies included maintaining quiet, distraction-free mealtime environments, offering visually appealing dishes, and providing assistance with feeding. These interventions aim to prevent malnutrition, a common risk among cognitively impaired patients that could severely worsen her overall prognosis. Hygiene and personal care required sensitive, structured approaches. Tuki needed reminders, physical assistance with bathing, dressing, and toileting. Safety measures were implemented, including the use of bathing chairs and temperature controls to prevent accidents. Her environment was modified to reduce hazards, such as decluttering spaces and securing dangerous objects out of reach, reflecting best practices in dementia care settings. Sleep management was integral to her well-being. Caregivers regulated daytime activities to promote nighttime rest, restricted fluid intake before bed to reduce nocturnal awakenings, and avoided unnecessary sedatives. The stability and predictability of routines helped alleviate anxiety and confusion that could disrupt sleep patterns. Tuki's living environment was thoughtfully arranged to support orientation and memory stimulation. Photographs and memorabilia dotted the home, serving as visual cues to anchor her sense of identity. Large clocks and calendars helped maintain temporal awareness. Locked doors and security measures guarded against wandering, an ever-present risk in patients with memory loss, to protect her safety without overly restricting freedom. Medical oversight was crucial, yet complicated by systemic limitations. Routine monitoring of cognitive and visual functions guided care adjustments. Neurological and ophthalmological consultations were sought to explore feasible interventions. Given treatment unavailability locally, coordination for referral abroad was initiated. This required navigating bureaucratic hurdles, financial planning, and travel logistics under immense pressure. Financial stress shadowed every decision. The family's dwindling assets and burdens from fraudulent investments intensified their vulnerability. Potentially life-saving treatments hung on the ability to mobilize funds. This underscored the devastating intersection of poverty and illness, where medical miracles remain out of reach, not due to science, but economic disparities. Henry's role was transformative. His youthful energy and social network fostered connections with medical specialists and aid organizations. He tirelessly advocated for Tuki, sought expert opinions, and arranged for medications and equipment. Henry embodied the critical importance of social capital and advocacy in confronting health inequities, bridging the gap between ailing individuals and fragmented health systems. Social and psychological dimensions intertwined. Tuki's family faced stigma and isolation. The suspicion surrounding unknown followers added a veil of fear, highlighting vulnerabilities faced by patients in unstable environments. Emotional struggles permeated interactions as caregivers balanced hope and realism, nurturing Tuki's spirit while confronting bleak prognoses. Careful communication was paramount to maintain trust and hope. Medical professionals provided candid updates with empathy, supporting the family through grief and uncertainty. Family members shared frustrations, sorrow, and moments of joy, sustaining a fragile sense of normalcy and solidarity. Tuki's narrative highlighted the intertwined nature of medical, social, and emotional support essential in chronic illness care. Her progressive neurological decline mirrored Alzheimer's-type dementia, necessitating multifaceted interventions addressing cognitive, functional, nutritional, and environmental factors. The absence of curative treatments shifted focus to palliative management, quality of life, and dignity. Her extended caregiving circle demonstrated the profound burden borne by families in resource-limited regions. Constant vigilance against falls, malnutrition, and psychological distress demanded physical and emotional stamina. The story illuminated the need for comprehensive, community-based support, respite care, and healthcare access improvements. The eventual plan for specialized treatment abroad was both hopeful and daunting. It represented potential restoration of functions impaired by disease, yet necessitated financial sacrifice and logistical complexity. Despite uncertainty, this possibility rekindled the family's determination and resilience. Through hardship, Tuki's journey underscored the power of compassion, advocacy, and human connection. Her family's sacrifice and Henry's intervention portrayed community strength overcoming systemic barriers. The narrative invokes a universal message. Even in the face of severe physical and psychological decline, love and hope endure, guiding the way toward healing and acceptance. This detailed, deeply reflective conclusion honors the magnitude of Tuki's struggle and the multifaceted nature of care chronic conditions demand. It calls for health systems and societies to recognize the inseparability of medical and social determinants of health, to invest in collaborative care models, and to uplift the voices of patients and caregivers navigating these profound challenges. Tuki's story invites empathy and action, urging improvements in access, support, and treatment for those living with the intertwined burdens of physical impairment and cognitive decline. Her narrative weaves a tapestry of human resilience, a testament to enduring spirit amid profound adversity. This is not merely a medical case, but a vivid depiction of life's complexity, pain, love, loss, and unwavering hope intertwined in the ongoing dance of survival and healing.